Okay, so before we start this video, I just want to apologize for my voice. I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment, but I really wanted to make this video because Apple have just had their iPhone 13 event, which was awesome. Looks like the iPhone 13 is going to be great, but much to the delight of me and many others out there, I'm sure, they also announced some iPad things. So the new iPad mini, which has got the completely new redesign, and the iPad 9th generation, which are both really exciting tablets, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So make sure you're subscribed because I'll definitely be checking out both of those iPads on this channel, and let's get straight into it. Let's start with the most exciting of the two, which is the iPad mini redesign. And I was really pumped when I saw this because I didn't think they were going to announce anything iPad related. So when this came out, pretty much off the bat, it was really cool to see. And basically what they've done is taken the design language of the iPad Pro and the iPad Air and just shrunk it down to the mini. And it's so good to see the mini getting some love. It's been years and years, maybe 3 or 4 years since it's had any form of update. So it's really nice to see that. From the looks of it, pretty much all they've done is grabbed one of the iPad Airs from last year, which was a fantastic redesign, and just shrunk it right down so it's mini sized, which is really cool. So you're getting that full USB-C, which is really great to see, and the Touch ID as well, which is really great. I was hoping we might see that come to the iPhone 13, but I really do think that's wishful thinking now. They've put in a bunch of new colors as well, which are really nice. I quite like the look of the new Starlight one and the purple, both look really cool. You're also getting center stage, which comes over from the iPad Pro this year, which is a really great feature to have while we're all video calling each other at the moment. Having something that tracks you intelligently is really cool to have. Apple didn't actually mention what chip it's got inside during the event, but if you look through the website, you can see that it does have the Apple A15 Bionic chip, which means it's going to be a little powerhouse. It's got a bit more power than the iPad Air from last year, and it's Apple's new flagship chip. So this is the one that's in the iPhone 13 and all of their new stuff at the moment, which is really great to see. I don't think it means it's the most powerful thing they've got because the M1 stuff has more cores and is slightly differently laid out, but it's still really awesome to see. It means if you buy this iPad mini, it's going to be relevant for so many years, which is always such a godsend. It's also hard to track down how much RAM this new iPad mini's got, but I assume it's got 4 GB because that would be the same as the iPad Air from last year. Another feature which I was really happy to see as well is they're bringing the Apple Pencil 2 to the iPad mini, and it snaps onto the side nice and easily, just like it does with the Pro models and the Air models. And you can see how big it is because the Pencil pretty much fills up the whole screen size on that iPad. So it just goes to show how small they've managed to make this iPad mini. There's 2 storage options. There's a 64 GB one and a 256 GB option, and they come in at 2 different prices as well. So this starts at £479 and it goes up to £619 for the 256 GB model. So it might not be quite as low as people were hoping for, but I think at that 64 GB at £479, that's actually quite a nice little starting place to be if you haven't used an iPad before or if you've been a little unsure about them. One of the things that I did notice during the event though, and it's also something I noticed when I viewed this iPad in the AR mode, which you can do on your iPhone, is that there is no smart connector on the back. So those 3 little pins that you get on the back of the iPad Pros and the iPad Airs and some other models where you attach keyboards and all those sorts of things aren't present on this new iPad mini, which is interesting. And they also didn't announce any keyboards or anything like that for it. And I think I kind of understand that because it's such a small iPad, I'm not sure having a keyboard is really the right use case for it. Obviously you can still attach a keyboard through Bluetooth or something like that, but there is no smart connector stuff. Apple did announce some smart folios, which look nice, match the colors as well, which is really cool, but it doesn't look like they're doing any keyboards for it, at least not yet. And watching all of this unfold with the no pins on the back, I thought, oh, maybe they're going to do MagSafe. Maybe this will be the first iPad with MagSafe. That would be really interesting, and maybe we'll see some different accessories like that come out for it. But there's no MagSafe here, which is sad. I hope it does come to iPad one day. Maybe the connectors aren't strong enough yet or something like that. But I think the iPad, especially the mini stuff, the MagSafe thing could be a really cool addition to get other sorts of accessories on there. Personally, I think this is going to be a really cool little tablet, and it's been such a long time since the mini got any sort of redesign or any sort of recognition from Apple, so it's really nice to see them go all out on it. I really love the design of it, and I think the color choices are really awesome. So with the iPad mini being out the spotlight for such a long time, you might be wondering who this iPad is really for. You know, a lot of us have moved on to the Pros, the really big Pros, or are using the Air quite happily and think it's small enough. But if you think about it, the iPad mini probably suits people in industries more than it does for personal use. People like doctors or pilots or engineers that need like a field tablet, for lack of a better word, something to take with them that's a bit bigger and isn't a phone, and they can do all their bits on it. People that use iPads for till systems and things like that. I think this will be a really great iPad for that, and that might be who exactly it's aimed at. I actually think it's going to be a really, really nice little iPad for students. You know I love note-taking on iPads, and I think this one might be a really, really great little addition to a student backpack, or for anyone who's constantly on the go but doesn't need an iPad for loads of things and only needs an iPad for a couple little things throughout the day. And it looks like it's small enough to fit into some pockets as well, which is just really, really cool. For me personally, I think it's going to be a really awesome little iPad. I've been using the 12.9-inch M1 iPad Pro for quite a few months now, so it's going to be really interesting to try out one that's way smaller, has pretty much just as much power, and to really put it for its paces, so I'll certainly be getting one. Apple also announced the 9th generation of their standard iPad, and this thing just keeps getting better and better and better, and it's such a good value proposition now. In terms of the specs and stuff they've updated, you're getting center stage, which is that webcam tracking, which is really, really great, and they've also bumped the storage up to 64 gigabytes, which I think is probably the biggest thing. Thank God that 32 gigabyte model's gone. That was a relic, so I'm really happy to see them bring it up to 64 gigabytes, which is, for students and things like that, it's probably enough to get by on standard tasks and all that sort of stuff day to day, which is really nice. But another huge update was the A13 chip, which is the chip from the iPhone 11, which was a powerhouse at the time, and it still really is. I remember when that chip went into the iPhone 11 and it just seemed razor quick, and that's really nice to see it in there. So that iPad, like all the other stuff with Apple at the moment, will stay relevant for a really, really long time. There's not loads to talk about here. Apple Pencil support is still there on the 1st generation, and there's keyboard attachments and all that sort of thing. Again, it might just be a really great thing for students who are looking at either getting this or a Chromebook or something similar, or for students that just want an iPad but they don't need all the fancy stuff that the Pro brings. Of course, the main event was the iPhone 13, so I would be remiss not to mention it. This has got a bunch of new features, but the biggest one I think that they really went on about was the video stuff, and the fact it can now rack focus, which is a technique that we as YouTubers do all the time. You can probably see me do it here. So that's what a normal camera does, and now the iPhone can do it too, which is really interesting. Obviously, cameras do that through their lenses and through all this sort of stuff, so it's happening in software, I imagine, combined with the iPhone lens. And I think it's going to be great for filmmakers, and a really cool thing if you're just getting into cinematography, if you're just getting into camera uses. What better way to start than with what's in your pocket? I think the colors are absolutely stunning as well. That blue is just, oh, perfect. So I'm a big fan of that. I really like the blue on the iPhone 12, but I probably like this one even more. But you know I really like pastel colors on this channel, so yeah, that's just my preference. It looks like a great update, and the standard iPhone 13 is also a fantastic upgrade. For people that are on the upgrade schedule, so if you're on the iPhone 10 or 10s or even the iPhone 11, this is going to be a fantastic upgrade. For people who are on the 12, you know, you might not see anything here that's worth shooting up to, but otherwise it looks like a fantastic upgrade, and I'm excited to see what people make with it. And obviously they announced an Apple Watch Series 7. I'm not a fitness nut by any means, but it was nice to see an update to the Apple Watch. It's got a bigger screen, a bunch of new colors. It looks really nice. I'm still on the Apple Watch Series 4, so I haven't left that since then, but this one looks really great, and if this one was on the way out, I'd potentially upgrade to it, but this one's still fine for now. And like I say, I don't do much fitness, so that's it. Anyway, that pretty much wraps up this video. Please let me know what you think of the iPad mini in the comments below. I'd really like to hear your guys' thoughts on it. If you're thinking of picking one up, let me know which color, and let me know what you're hoping to get done with it or anything like that. Or if you're getting the iPad 9th gen, which again is such a little powerhouse for the money. Anyway, I'll leave you with that, and I will see you all in the next one.